I'm Davy. Awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Wrestling, where I review wrestling-related things all from the perspective of a fan, not an insider. So last week I reviewed Ring of Honor Final Battle 2022. That same weekend, in fact that same day, was NXT Deadline. So this week I'll go ahead and do NXT Deadline. The interesting concept behind NXT Deadline was that they were going to be introducing an Iron Survivor match, a women's and a men's. A 25-minute contest with 5 competitors, and the winner becomes the number 1 contender for either the women's championship or the men's championship. Of the 5 competitors, it would start with 2, and every 5 minutes, another superstar would come out, until all competitors win the ring. At any point in the match, a competitor can get a fall, giving them a point. When a competitor had been pinned or submitted, they had to spend 90 seconds in a penalty box. And whichever competitor had scored the most falls by the end of the 25 minutes is the winner of the Iron Survivor Challenge and the number 1 contender. The moment this was announced, I was not excited about it because I've talked about it before. I don't like when matches are this complicated. I like it when it's simple. But trying the concept out, let's see how it worked. Because the opening contest was the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, with competitors Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, Kiana James, Cora Jade, and Indy Hartwell. The 2 starting the match, Roxanne Perez and Zoe Stark. 5 minutes into Roxanne Perez and Zoe Stark, out came Kiana James. And soon after, Zoe Stark got the very first fall over Roxanne Perez, who had to go to the penalty box. Then Cora Jade came out and quickly got a fall over Kiana James. Then out came Indy Hartwell, who quickly got a fall on Perez. Soon after Perez came out of the penalty box, she got her first fall on Zoe Stark. Then with only a couple minutes left in the match, Roxanne Perez got a fall on Cora Jade, and nobody else was able to get a fall before the time ended, making the winner Roxanne Perez. My first impression of this Iron Survivor match, despite all the talent in there, great women wrestlers, again, it's so complicated that kind of took it away from me. So I really only gave this match a 3 out of 5. Yay! Then the match we've been waiting for since NXT Halloween Havoc, Isla Dawn versus Alba Fire. As we know, Isla Dawn cost Alba Fire the championship in her match against Mandy Rose. Throughout the match, honestly, it was pretty standard until we got to the ending. At the end, we got some Papa Shango stuff going on, as Alba Fire had gotten the swanton onto Isla Dawn, was about to make the pin, but then the ref started convulsing and coughing up black goo. So while they were waiting for another ref to get down there, Isla Dawn hit Alba Fire with an exposed turnbuckle and got the pin. So this isn't over, it's pretty good, and like I said, it got interesting towards the end. So I'll give this one a good solid 3 out of 5. Yay! Then for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The New Day came to NXT to challenge Pretty Deadly. They even built it up to say that Xavier Woods regretted the fact that even though he was in the very first installment of NXT, he never won a title while he was there. The match was not only good from like a wrestling standpoint, but it was just really freaking entertaining. At one point, Pretty Deadly was trying to pull an Eddie Guerrero by taking the belt and tossing it to their opponent and pretending that they hit him with it. So Xavier Woods, the one who had the belt, what did he do? He put the belt down and he laid down as if he had gotten hit with the belt. So the other member of Pretty Deadly tried to pull it on Kofi Kingston, so he pulled it. So when the ref was finally paying attention, all 4 members were laying on the floor with a belt down there, Eddie Guerrero style. And then from there, the match went on a little bit longer until the New Day eventually got the pin over Pretty Deadly and became the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Which I'm happy about because not only do I like the New Day and not only do I think it's kind of nice that they have them as the Tag Team Champions, but it got it off Pretty Deadly and I'm not a Pretty Deadly fan. I'm really not. They're okay, but the we're so attractive gimmick has been done to frickin' death. But again, this match, for the overall entertainment that we got from it, not just the hijinks, but the wrestling too, and the fact that we have new tag team champions, giving this one a 5 out of 5. Yeah! Then, we had the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, with JD McDonough, Axiom, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Joe Gacy. Starting the match was JD McDonough and Axiom. After 5 minutes, out came Carmelo Hayes, and he was the one to get the first fall over Axiom. Then Grayson Waller came out, and he immediately, the moment he got into the ring, got 2 falls over JD McDonough and Axiom, meaning both had to go to the penalty box, where they fought inside the penalty box. Because as we remember, Axiom's still a little angry at JD McDonough for intentionally injuring him. When they got out, Axiom got a fall over Waller, then got a fall over McDonough. And a few minutes later, Joe Gacy came out and he quickly got a fall over Axiom. Then got a fall over Carmelo Hayes. But then when it was time for Axiom to get out of the penalty box, JD McDonough would not let him out, holding the door shut, so Axiom climbed to the top of the penalty box and did a moonsault onto everybody. Except Carmelo Hayes. He was still in the penalty box. Then when Carmelo Hayes came out, he got a fall over Waller. Then with 60 seconds left in the match, with everybody except JD McDonough tied at 2 falls, Carmelo Hayes was just about to get a third fall over Axiom, but Waller pulled him out and stole his pin. And then spent the rest of the less than 60 seconds left in the match preventing everybody from getting a fall, meaning Grayson Waller was the only one who had 3, meaning Grayson Waller was the winner. I will give this Iron Survivor match its credit that this one was much more entertaining than the opening one. Almost entertaining enough to get a 5, except for the fact that I'm really not liking this whole concept of a match. In my opinion, it's just an overcomplicated match. Matches should be simple, even when they're gimmicks. However, still very entertaining, so whereas I kind of wanted to give it a 5, I just feel that the match concept itself does take away a point. But I still give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah! And then the main event for the NXT Championship. Apollo Crews finally gets his chance at Braun Breaker. This match was kind of boring. I mean, it's 2 good wrestlers. I've been a big fan of Apollo Crews for a while. Braun Breaker is okay, but I've talked about it before, extremely one-dimensional. But the rivalry itself was not interesting at all. All they played it up to was, I respect you, but I'm coming for your title. Well, that's great. I respect you too, but I'm going to defend my title. Let's hug. And the match itself was just very standard. I actually had a hard time paying attention to this match. I kept losing my concentration on it because it just wasn't thrilling at all. There was nothing special about this match. At all. Even to the point of its ending. It ended with a very underwhelming spear by Braun Breaker getting the pin. Like I said, it was sad that this was the last match of the night because it ended on a very low note. I give this match a 2 out of 5. Yeah! So NXT Deadline overall was okay. As I've mentioned a few times in this review, I was not crazy about the Iron Survivor Challenge at all. I don't like when matches are too complicated. In many ways, it reminds me of that old championship scramble match they tried that was just terrible, or the King of the Mountain match, which is always terrible. It's just too complicated. There shouldn't be that many rules that make up a match. And some people have said to me before, like, you love war games, that's a little overcomplicated. Not really. It's 2 cages surrounded by 2 rings, 2 teams. They come out in 2-minute intervals until everybody's in the ring, and then they can get a pin or submission. It's not that complicated. It's just waiting until they all get out there. But I've talked about it before. In my opinion, gimmick matches should be simple, like a Hell in a Cell. It's a big, huge cage surrounding the entire ringside area. Pin or submission. Ladder match. Get up the ladder, get the belt. An Iron Man match. Here's the time limit. Get as many falls as you can until it expires. If they wanted to do a 5-man Iron Man match, might have been interesting. Even if they did want to do intervals, but then again, another problem I have with it is in matches where you come down in intervals, usually you want to be the last. Like in the Royal Rumble, you want to be the last entrant in the Royal Rumble. In this, you kind of want to be the first one in there because that gives you more time to get more falls. And then the penalty box thing is one of the things I hate the most about the King of the Mountain match, and it's something I hated about this match. It is stupid. This is wrestling, not hockey. Leave penalty boxes out of wrestling. I wasn't a fan of the concept. However, I will admit that both the women's and men's did a good job keeping my attention and entertaining me. The men's a little more than the women's, but still, they did a good job at it. But I really hope that this concept does not come back. Or at least gets a little bit of a makeover. Again, you want to do a 5-way Iron Man match? I can go for that. The matches in between, the Isla Dawn Alba Fire match, was pretty good. Wasn't great, but pretty good, but still building up a story. The tag team match was great, the only 5 I gave out of the night. But for it to end with that main event really did hurt. That was the main event, that was the championship match, and it was very lackluster. I didn't have much to say about the match itself because, like I said, I was having a hard time paying attention to it. It was just an incredibly vanilla match. So overall, I will say NXT Deadline, it had its high points, but it also had its very low points. I would honestly say that NXT Deadline was overall entertaining enough to just squeak out a 3 out of 5. Yeah! So there you have it. That's my wrestling review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications when I post new videos, and Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of NXT Deadline. Tell me if you liked the Iron Survivor Challenge. Love you guys.